What's up, everybody? Carolina Keith, regular Keith, Professor Keith, just Keith, can't stand Keith. Oh no, it's Keith. Hey, look, it's Keith. Whatever your pleasure. I'm here. Glad to see everyone. Thursday, September 25th. Let's see if I get the echo working. A day which will live in infamy forever. Exactly. So, rough day in the price action world, huh? You know, kind of thought something like this might happen when we were stuck under this trend line.
Damn.
Kind of tried to tell everybody, hey, man, you Super Bulls better be careful here. And then when I mentioned I'm going to sell some of you guys in the comments took off on me.
Come on, man.
Called me a lot of names, said a lot of dirty, ugly stuff about how I had paper hands and I'm a bitch. And right before alt season, I sold. What am I thinking? Blah, blah, blah. Well, to you, I say, told you. You got to be careful here. Once you're in a downtrend, they are harder to break than uptrends. Folks, let's talk about it, shall we? Welcome to Crypto Before Dark. Real quick, let me fix this GIF that I added. It's a wasted GIF, and I didn't get to fix it yet. So let's fix this. All right, we'll put this. Whoa, what did I do? Can I change that? I don't think I can. There we go. There it is. So let's do this. Oh, I did it again. Moves quick. Moves too quick. Let me change the, I'm doing this live. Hold on. Okay. There we go. Now if I do it live here, or do it live. There we go. And then we'll lock it. And now whenever we want to play the wasted gift, we just do this and wasted. We're going to talk about what's wasted right here in a second. Appreciate it, Crypto Big D. I told you guys about these liquidity levels last time, right? I pulled up CoinGlass and I told you guys, hey, check out these levels, blah, 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 right? I even marked the levels on the chart here. And for the guys over in the Discord, I even put these cute little GIFs in here to let you know, hey, watch out. These liquidation levels are going to sting if they come through. We got to break this downtrend here that we very clearly had, right? We had a very clear downtrend here. And until that breaks, it's trouble. It's trouble. And where are we looking to go if we don't break? And sure enough, we have hit those levels. Now, people ask me all the time, oh, did you short this? Did you? Brother, listen, it's risky to go with leverage. You guys have listened to me on here for years. I don't do a lot of leverage trading. I do mostly spot. Why? Because it's what most of you have time to do. You guys mostly don't have time to do leverage trading. And I understand that. So I do spot and I talk about spot 95% of the time. There are going to be people who are going to talk shit about me from now until the end of time, until I go away, who are going to say, well, he didn't short it. Well, he didn't put leverage longs in. I get it. I understand what you're saying. Trust me, I'm here. I understand. What I'm going to say to that is the everyday person can't do that. And since I'm the everyday person and I understand what it's like to be the everyday person, I'm not going to tell anyone to do that as well. I'm not going to build a bot that does leverage trades back and forth, call it an algorithm, and then pass it on to people that's based on basic TA. I'm not going to repurpose someone else's stuff and then call it my own and then try to sell that to people. Not what I do. It's pure TA, and it's pure teaching, pure learning on a chart. It's pure mathematics. Interestingly enough, I was talking in the chat in Discord to one of the members, Hildebrand. Shout out to him for bringing it up. But he talked about Robert Kiyosaki, and he said in his book, he talks about how us guys who do TA are trading on emotions. Couldn't be more incorrect. I don't care whether it goes up or down. And they're saying, oh, the trend line is based on emotions. And that's fully incorrect. This is all based on mathematics. If a certain level doesn't get hit, well, the probability goes down. If the probability goes down, you flip the other direction. It's very, very simple. There's no emotions involved with it. In fact, why do all the biggest firms in the world and the biggest companies that do the most amount of money moving all use algorithmic trading bots to do this and have been doing that since the early 80s, right? It's only gotten fancier and more advanced. In fact, just watched a video yesterday on a guy who front runs all the bots. So it's very, very cool the way he does it. So he's got a super high powered computer and a super, super very good stream. He lives just on the outskirts of New Jersey. And what he does is he built a system that pings him whenever he sees large volumes of money go through, right? He'll see that, for instance, the order is at 109,354. So before the order gets to 109,354, his device picks it up and puts an order in before the big boys do. And then before the big boys then sell that order, he gets another ping that lets him know to sell it. And it might only make $1 or $2. But he does this 10,000 times per day or 10,000 times per week. And it's all computer driven, does it on his own, right? And that adds up after a while to large amounts of money. Now, is it risky? Yes, it's risky. And that's why I don't do it. But it's out there and it's no emotions involved. It's all pure mathematics. So let's get into the mathematics of what this stuff is, shall we? And we shall. I preach on this all the time, right? It's all math. It's nothing to do with how you feel or what you want or what you wish or you hope. None of that. Let's get right down through the charts. So we've continued this downtrend. We have failed all the moving averages at once, the 100, the 50, the 821 EMA. The only one we haven't failed way down there is the 200 moving average at about 103.9, call it 104, right? Shout out to everyone watching, by the way. Andrew Ionescu, sup, brother? Give us a repost. Appreciate it. Bulldog Bandit, give us a repost. Oh, you already have, probably. Crypto Trauma, give us a repost. Appreciate it. If you haven't done so already. More people who give a repost, more people see this. If you're over on YouTube, brother, I appreciate it. Literally every single person over there has hit like. How baller is that? Thank you, guys. That's super awesome of you. I appreciate it. If you're over on Rumble, shout out to the guys over on Rumble. Oscar D, what's up, brother? Appreciate you coming on. He says, oh, snaps, got to check the logs. Mr. XR Fema, good to see you, brother. Yeah, people really call me a bitch. It's fine, dude. I get called names constantly, nonstop, toxic and all this other stuff. Just being real with people brings up a lot of emotions in people. It's crazy. If you're over on Rumble, go give us a like. There's 11 people watching over on Rumble. Doesn't seem like a lot, but that 11 people is equal to 100 people on YouTube. I know that sounds crazy, but that's how it works. All 11 of you guys over on Rumble, go give us a like. We're digging into some TA. Sorry, I got a noise reverberation feedback there. What's up, Lee Roberts? Good to see you. So, liquidation levels were still there the whole time. I've written wasted right there on the chart. Can't miss it, right? I turn them blue whenever the levels get hit. These were green before, if you remember the last stream, right? I explained we had lots of shorts up here and lots of longs down here. Now, multiple of these longs got taken out. How much farther do I think it's going to go? And to go into that, I'm going to drop down the low time frames for just a short period of time here and try to explain this, all right? So as we look at this downtrend, it's fairly unmistakable. Yeah, you had your high, you had your low, you had your lower high, your lower ho, lower ho, lower ho.
Damn.
That's funny. Lower low, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, higher low. Ooh, psych.
Gotcha, bitch.
Fake out, down you go, straight back down. And what are we doing now? Making yet another lower low right here and another lower high. And this is where we started to really dig into liquidity. There was one that was up here. I don't know, where was it? It was right up here. We had one that was going across right here, right? We already got that one, so I already moved it off the chart because it got smoked. So we're only got a few left. I'm going to erase these because you can clearly see the downtrend, right? You can clearly see that we had one little higher high, but we never got a higher low to confirm that uptrend. It ended up being a lower low and just nuked whatever the little jump it had right there up was, and just took all the liquidity right back. Let me erase these last two, and then we'll pull some fibs on the low time frame here, and then we'll work to the high time frame so you see what I'm talking about. So this was our last lower low in our wick that liquidated a bunch of longs that were running across the chart like I showed you a moment ago. Now we'll pull a Fibonacci retracement on this because this was a higher high, right? That was our last high. And this is our new high. Fair? Fair. Then it failed. We didn't get that higher low to confirm it. It did not make it right here. Instead of making this higher low, it failed and gave us a big drop off. And since it did that, no uptrend, no confirmation, pure failure. Let's measure how far the failure goes with Fibonacci retracement, right? So we'll grab the bottom of this wick and we'll pull up to the top of this wick right here. Then we're going to drag it right. We're measuring the uptrend and how far it's failing, all right? So I'm going to pull it over there. We got good room to look at it. It started here, it went to here, and it has failed, and it has continued to fail and fail and fail. Here are our levels where I not knew for sure, but suspected heavily that we would hit, and we hit all three of them. 1272, 1414, 1618. All that liquidity absolutely got nuked. 100% wasted. I'll add some sound effects next time too. And that'll be cool. I can do a dual purpose button on the stream deck over here so I can make the GIF pop up and the sound effect play at the same time. That'll be pretty cool. Anyway, what's left, right? We've gone all the way down here to the take profit fibs. Could this thing reverse from here? And the answer is yes. It very much could stop here, hang on, stay above this 109,275. And if I flip this back and forth, and I can remove these red boxes now, they're done. We've already hit them. All right, make this a little easier to see. I understand all these colors mess with people. Those were boxes that I had marked just yesterday and said, hey man, watch out, right? Sure enough, they came true. All right. Covey Barger said, this is just short-term pain for inevitable long-term gains. I agree, but it might be a long-term before we get that long-term. So let's go through the money on it. So anyway, if we stay above this 109,275 log or linear, there's only a $50 difference, which is minimal on Bitcoin. You guys know that it's a large amount of money, $109,000. So if we don't hold this 1618, we have one more level down here to really give us a monster punch in the gut. And that's if we come all the way down here where these last bit of longs really started to pile in. Everything under here is lower amounts of leverage, like not degenerate amounts of leverage. And when I say not degenerate, I mean 10x, 15x, 20x. When you get into the 50, 100, 200, 500x, those are degens. And those are the ones that just got wiped out, the blue lines that you see there. Those degens didn't last. And again, that's why you see me not doing it publicly, right? Not something that I expect anyone to want to do, and not something you can expect me to do on live for all you to see. It's just a recipe for failure. It builds you up with a couple small wins and just knocks you out with one punch, which is exactly what you see on the chart here. Yeah. I mean, it's almost identical. So the 2 fib down here at 108, 185, call it 108 flat, would be one of my last targets. You could say 107.4. But you're already digging in pretty deep with the knife here. Look how overbought it is on the 2 hour. Look how overbought it is on the 1 hour. I'm sorry, oversold on both of these. Oversold on both of them. Look at the 4 hour. Even the 4 hour is oversold once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. 4 times oversold on the 4 hour. You're really digging the knife in. I want to pull one more thing up that I forgot to do. Fear Greed Index for crypto. Why is this important? Well, I want you to see that the day has not closed yet. And we are at 41, which is just neutral. Not extreme fear, not extreme greed. But after today, you're going to see this 41 number jump down. It's going to be in the mid 30s at least, which is fearful. In general, when you are fearful, when the market is fearful, those are the best times to capitalize. And in general, when the market is greedy, those are the best times to take some profits and sell and slow down a little bit. All right. It's important to note that we have approached the fear level, but we are not deep into it. It can go much farther. It can go much farther. However, when you're in these fearful moments, these are the times you want to try to find a spot to buy. And that's what we're going to go over for the rest of the stream, looking long-term, pulling out to the big time frames and seeing where some of the next available spots to be hit, to be stopped at, to be reversed at could happen. We're at one now, and we'll talk about that next. Okay. Is that fair? I don't want to go too deep down the rabbit hole on a lot of this stuff because it looks so darn bad. You know what I mean? We don't need to go being degens and throwing a lot of money around. It's a mistake. It's a recipe for disaster. So I showed you the low term fibs, right? Fine. How about we step out a little bit here? This is the daily chart that I had when we started the stream. We've already liquidated these. Let's remove all these. They're done for. They're cooked. We can take them off our chart. No more need to be there. As a matter of fact, since we started new shorts right here, you cannot mistake that. That's a full-on reversal, right? Well, let's go add a new short level up here. All right. Put it right about there. Make it a dashed line just so all you know what I'm doing when I put that. And that's another liquidity zone. If we go back up and we reverse up, this becomes a target for us. So our targets on the way back up from here, if we were to reverse today, would be 113,350. Call it 113,250 because that's a more round number. A quarter of 1,000 is 250. All right, so after that, you got 116 and some change. And up above that, 117, go a little higher, 120 and 123. All those become liquidity levels. These in here are going to be heavy shorts. What do I mean by that? Well, that's them really piling it on. Now I'm going to pull up CoinGlass so you can see here what I mean. This chart here will kind of show you what I mean about all the shorts piling in. All right. Looking at this, degens here, absolute degens are in orange. This is, as you see, 100x leverage. It's kind of difficult to read this, but it's 100x leverage right here for you to go after this. Oranges, big, big, big bets. So as you see, they really piled in at 110, like they jumped in heavy. That becomes a big glaring target for bulls later on. How much more liquidity is left for the shorts to take out, for them to keep attacking and keep digging in? Well, you got a spike right here at about 108 and some change, 108, 125, call it 108 flat. Remember when I said that earlier, 108, 125? That's what I was talking about, right? They got one spike right there. We have another spike at 107.6. And then we don't have any more oranges. It's just yellows, which are 50x, a little bit more degen. And behind that, these are all very low leverage plays. They could get wiped. But those are all the way down there at that 200 moving average that I showed you earlier, which I'll show you again in a moment. Look at all of these shorts piled in over here. Big, juicy targets for those longs if they can reverse this sell pressure. And it has to happen in that order. It does not mean that the longs will come flying in now. No, no, no. They have to build a base. They have to turn the shorts back around and force them to back off a little bit. And folks, right now, that rope is getting pulled very, very tough in the bear's direction. If that's the case, you got to back off and wait on this thing to find the bottom. I talk about this all the time. You do not catch falling knives. You let them fall. And folks, look to the right here. Knives are falling, in case you weren't paying attention. That's a lot of falling knives, isn't it? You got it. That's a lot of falling knives. And before people come and talk junk, I want you to remember most of these assets you see right here, I bought low and sold high at some point. Not all of them, but most of them. That was just this cycle. All these over here are the ones I've charted just this cycle. All right, bought them low, sold them high, walked away. Some of them I didn't win on. Some of them I lost on. Part of the game, right? Things are bloody right now. Can get worse. I don't want you to think this is over, but let's talk about where it could stop at. Okay, cool. So I got the daily. This was our uptrend. You can't mistake that. You can see it clear as day. Let's measure this uptrend now that it started to fail and see how much farther it could fail or retrace. I'll grab the bottom here. We'll pull it to the top. And I'm going to drag it to the right just so we can see it a little bit more clearly. All right. I like to kind of respect the trend with these, and this is actually the best way to respect the trend. You see that dashed line catching those candles right there? You want to catch as many candles and wicks as you can with that line. And as you can see, I'm catching a good many right there. All right. Then it fails. If I'm going by the math here, this thing could be over now. But what I want you to note is we are knee deep in Sniper's Alley. Sniper's Alley is an often reversed around level. Okay. Sometimes what we see is price gets here and gets hung up and simply can't go any farther. Now there is a little bit more liquidity on the bone right here. We can see that green line that we drew right there is a last level of liquidity, and we almost hit it. Look how close we came, right? Can't mistake that. We came very close. In fact, this thing might do it today, it might do it tomorrow, and just finish it off. If that's the case, I just showed you that coin glass chart. There's almost no liquidity left for the shorts to attack. It's time to start building a base and figure out where we want to buy. Fair? Is that fair? You guys in the chat, give me a yes if you think that's a fair idea. I don't say go do it. I'm saying maybe it's time to start building up a base. Let me know. Twitter, X, Rumble, YouTube, go let me know if you think finding a base when it's greedy is a bad idea, which is what I do, or finding a grease when it's fearful is a good idea. And I think it's getting fearful right now. I think you're starting to see the worry and dread come in. You saw the thumbnail for the video. I'm not lying. There's blood in the streets. I think we're going to go down to that 108 level. If not today, tomorrow. If not tomorrow, this weekend. And if it does it this weekend, that's brutal. Good news, I'm all in stables. The only position I have is Tesla. I don't even own any crypto right now. So I'm sitting back waiting, trying to figure out where this shit falls. There is some hope on the forefront. All right, so we've seen the daily. I think it can get hung up in Sniper's Alley. If it doesn't, remember the 200 moving average is all the way down here around 104 and some change. And you remember when I showed you coin glass a moment ago, I said down to 104 clears out almost the entire order book. Like almost the whole order book is wiped at that move right there. No more shorts left from that point on. You're likely to get a bounce if it comes down here. Fair? I think that's fair. All right, cool. So hold this level. If we hold this level and reverse out and we get back above 110, looks like we're going to make a move up. If we don't hold that level and we continue to roll over and we don't get over this trend line right here that you see, we don't get over that trend line, we are aiming south for that 200 moving average. And for what it's worth, folks, that might be the end of the bull run. We got to just call it like it is. Now, if I zoom out a little bit, I keep going back a little farther each time. This is our liquidity level down all the way at 98 from last time. These are the last leftovers of the degens from the summer move. This is it, right? And for the most part, a lot of these took profits. This liquidity actually shrank down a little bit when the ugly started up top. And since this was an uptrend and it's failed, we can check it as well. All right. I'm going to pull this up. As you see, that was probably, this was probably the best way to look at it. Then this way was the best way to look at it. Call a lot of candles. Now we're going all the way out here, and I'm going to try to catch the candles on the backside of this trend line. I don't know if this is accurate or not as far as the trend goes, but the retracement set is correct. We have the golden pocket down here on a little bit wider time frame at 107 to 105. Getting ugly, right? Don't think it can't happen. It's already failed the 50 fib. And if I flip it into linear, you're going to see this golden pocket is actually around 108.2. Not far off from that 108.1 I said a moment ago. I think it's likely that we get down here and we dig into this last liquidity zone and attempt a bounce. We might not get a big bounce. We might not break trend, but I think we might attempt it, right? And again, breaking this line right here changes everything. You break this red line, we're back in business and we can start talking about more up. Until we break that line, it is extremely risky. Extremely risky. That's why I'm not in. That's why I'm going to wait it out. I'm not a rich fella. I'm an average Joe just like you guys. I got to protect my money. So you can talk crap about me if you want and say I'm paper-handed. You can talk crap about me and say, oh, you don't know what you're doing. Fine. I've done pretty well at this for myself. I started from $6,000 and I'm all the way where I'm at now. I'm doing pretty darn good, right? I've ate up a lot of my investment money paying myself a salary. I don't know how much longer I can do that. For what it's worth, I want to save my salary money. I want to keep my investment money separate. You know what I mean? So I got a plan here for the next 10 years. But I'm in stables until I see it improve. I think that's a fair assessment. Let's go on out a little farther. All the way back to April, where we started down here. And you guys can see all my old buy lines. Look at that. I was sick. I was buying the heck out of stuff down there. I was taking profits and dumping them in Bitcoin. So I'll grab the bottom here. Now pull all the way up. Again, this was an uptrend that failed. We can all admit that. All right, so if I look back here, so far we failed to 236 fib. That's pretty normal. 382 fib is down at 1055. And that's in linear mode. If I flip it to log mode, you can see we just recently fell to 236. Right? Could get worse here, couldn't it? What this says is, hey man, we might come all the way down here to the 100s again. Whoo, maybe even the high 90s again if this doesn't break trend. Again, we need to see that red line right there break before we can do anything. As you see, the more I zoom out, the riskier this gets, yeah? That's a fair statement, I think. And from there, we're going all the way back all the way back to when the bull run started, kind of in September 2024. I don't know which wick to grab, but I'll grab this one. And as far as this goes, well, technically you haven't failed trend on this one, and you do have some confluence of that 102 area at 236 right there. Very much could play out, is what I'm trying to say. So be careful. This thing might not be done rolling over. It might just keep doing this. And if that's the case, hold on to your britches. Hold on to your britches. If you don't know what britches are, it's Southern pants. Come on, man. Southern pants. Everybody knows what britches are, right?
Come on, man.
I know what britches are. You should know what britches are. I appreciate it, Diego. Shout out Rumble, by the way. Real quick, Mr. XRF, Crypto Big D, Oscar D, 310. Appreciate you guys on here. B. Henry, what's up, brother? Thank you. Go hit like. I appreciate you being on here, my guy. My standard is buy high then sell low, but I'm open to try another way around. I fully get it, dude. Appreciate it, guys. Y'all go hit like. We got a good many people over there watching. If you're watching over on YouTube, go hit like, man. I see some of you guys hadn't hit like. And over there on X, give us a repost. Give us a like. We're getting up there. We're up to 350 people. I don't expect a bunch, man. Markets are shit, and nobody wants to watch when markets are shit. Now, I've talked about Bitcoin at nauseum. Yeah? Sweet. Well, let's switch it up a little bit. Maybe there's something better out there. Let's pull up Ethereum. Now, I've already sold this Ethereum position, so I'm going to move this off. It got real ugly real quickly in the Ethereum world, didn't it?
Damn.
I know. All right, so there's our previous high way back here in December 2024, and we had this big precipitous fall off that happened all the way down to April 2025. Now, the good news here is you're still above that blue trend line. You can't really mistake that, yeah? You could argue I could pull that a little tighter. You could argue I could pull it a little looser. Let's fool around with it for a second, all right? So this is log mode. I'll flip it to linear. Doesn't line up at all. I'll put it back in log mode, move it down. We got a little bit more room for failure right there. If I catch the bottom wick down here, right about there. And if I pull this to the very edge of this wick right here, that's pretty darn close. And this is a big, humongous zoomed out look. So far, she's playing around with this previous all-time high, failing it. Don't want to see that thing fail. Let's drop down a little lower and see how much more failure she's got in her. What do you say? Boy, what a wicked, wicked downtrend. You've got multiple downtrends inside of downtrends here. Look at that one. Just cutting in deep. All right. There's our bottom. There's our high. We'll drag it over. And look where this one's going. Remember a minute ago I said Bitcoin could go all the way to the 2 or the 2.272 fib? Looky there. You are right there right now on Ethereum. Look how oversold the 4-hour is. My goodness. 4-hour Ethereum has not been this oversold since April of this time this year. Remember when it was really, really, really bad in April? This is the last time it was this oversold. Before that, all the way back in February and December when the big sell-off was happening. Not only are you oversold, but you're double oversold on the 4-hour. What about the daily? She's approaching oversold now, hasn't been oversold since April. May, June, July, August, September, 5 months. It hasn't been oversold in 5 months, and it's almost there now. Is it time to buy? I'm not going to tell you guys what to do, but there's a case to be made for people who want to start to try to accumulate. Do what you want, but I'm just saying. MACD still looks ugly. All of them look ugly. I don't know what to tell you about that. It's just an oscillator. You shouldn't ever just use the MACD or the RSI. They go in confluence with what you're already doing. They kind of give you a more broad overview. Pulling up the moving averages. Ethereum is approaching the 100 moving average. goodness, dig in a little deeper. It's clear it's going to hit that 100. No, that might be the time to think about accumulating. Up to you. Also note that the trend line's right about where that is. Maybe that's some foreshadowing. I don't know. I'm just saying. Let's keep our eyes on it, all right? If we pull a little bit more local fib starting here and finishing here, grab it there and pull it up. Kind of like that. That shows us where we're likely to slow down. As you see, we are deep in the golden pocket right now. We've hit 618. We've almost got to the 68, and we got the 71 down there as well. Pulling that knife in pretty deep and twisting it, isn't it? If it fails farther than that, you got 786 down here at 3650. If you can hold 3750, that also might be a decent idea to start building a base. That's about where the 100 moving average is as well. How about linear mode? Forget that blue line. It's going to move around log linear. We know how exponential crypto is. We are all the way in the golden pocket right now, and 3,700 is our number on Sniper's Alley. Please remember those numbers because those might be flippable numbers, and we might see this thing reverse at some point. If it does, those might be the numbers that we're looking for. Please note that we are digging into support over here now, and we're almost oversold. So, oversold big time on the 4-hour double. Oversold. Running into support. Coming close to oversold on the daily charts. Approaching the 100 moving average. Multiple downtrends inside of a downtrend. How much longer can that last? Well, we've already got 5 confluence points that this thing's used up a lot of juice already. How much more juice can it use up? Don't get me wrong, folks. You know this stuff can fail and fail and fail and fail. So please be careful. Please, please, please be careful. If you want to start accumulating, I understand. I'm going to play it safe and wait. I want to see this knife hit the ground first. Stop spinning around. Then I'll try to pick that knife up. For now, that thing's still floating in midair, heading toward the floor, and I don't want to get involved. I'm going to wait it out, give it a couple more days of waiting. Won't kill me. I think that's the fair thing to do. All right, a drink of water, and we hit the jazz. Sweet. So let's get into a couple more. I haven't talked a lot about Solana, but let's do that. Let's record this. Make a clip out of it, because believe it or not, I don't know what happened. Make a note of this. The YouTube views have tripled in the last week. I didn't do anything different. They just tripled. I shared this with Rebel Van Winkle. I was like, look at this, dude. What happened? I don't understand. I went from 30 views to 130. What happened? So, interesting enough, I don't know what's going on. I just noticed that the views picked up. So, I'm going to record some more clips and put some more clips up, right? So I'll do a clip of this. I'll do a clip of XRP, right? So Solana, big drop off. We see it happening. She's failed the 821 and the 50 moving average very aggressively. You know what that means? Wasted. She did liquidate some stuff right through here. Right about right there where that last little low was. You got some liquidations in there. Not great. She is pouring out blood right now. Look at that. Just puking up blood. Not quite oversold. I will note that look how it is starting to run into support here. All right. And it's digging in. If you get through that, you've got more support over here. Let's draw a box to kind of get around all this support. We can see we started back here and ran down to here. And let's drag it across. Look at there. We are dead nuts on support right now. If we can stay inside this box here, maybe a fair place for you to start wanting to accumulate. And looky there. The 100 moving average is in there. By the way, don't get in my face about this. Not financial advice. You do your own thing. I'm not telling anybody what to buy and sell. I'm just explaining what I might do. I might not do anything. I might just wait this out. Just giving you strategies that people all over the world use every single day, sharing it with you. I'm hoping that we all get a little bit more knowledge out of this and make a little bit better decisions than everyone else. That level right there was about 184, call it 184 to 185, and it really depends on how fast it gets there. If it does it tomorrow, good. If it doesn't and it waits, it might end up being 186, 187, right? So we can pull some fibs to kind of help us look at that. There's our last local low right there. All right, and we'll pull that up to there. Make sure we get our stuff just right, like that. Zoom in so I can see a little bit better. All right, so there was our low. There was our high. And I use this trend line right here to get as close as I can to most of the candles. See that? Hitting as many of the candles and wicks as I can. You don't got to be perfect. Just get close. That's the idea. Let's just get close. All right, so we blew through the 236. We blew through the 382. Oof. We're below the 50 fib. Oof. Golden pocket starts at 187 to 179. Remember a second ago I said it might end up being 186, 187. As we wait and as this moving average slowly creeps up here, the price of that moving average slowly creeps up as well. Shout out to China Matt for making us moving average extensions, which I'll pull up now and you can see here. All right, we'll pull up these moving average extensions and they show you where these moving averages will end up over the next few periods. All right, cool. So as you see, little by little, we are working our way over there to those upward lines that are slowly creeping up here. So it looks like that 100 moving average might be up to 187 by next week. Let's see if it takes that long. I'm not sure it's going to take that long. I think it might be quicker than that. Honestly, I think it might be quicker. That's where I'm going to look first, inside this support box, inside the golden pocket. Let's see if we get a bounce here, right? By then, if it gets all the way down here to the golden pocket, you will be oversold on the daily. Your MACD will be getting close to the midline. We can scroll out to weekly and look at that as well. Moving averages for the weekly. Also, you got the 21 EMA and the 50 EMA inside of this support box. Interesting data, isn't it, right? So as bad as it seems right now, a little bit more red puts us into some extreme fear. And as that extreme fear comes in, that's when the people who know about it take advantage. When we see that extreme fear, we jump in there and we grab a bite. Fair enough? Fair enough. Cool. So I'm going to keep my eyes on Solana, and I want everybody else to keep their eyes on Solana as well. What's up, Peter Navarro? Shout out B Dobbs. What's up, brother? Lee Roberts. Vintage Pennies. How you doing, brother? Jeff Thomas. Good to see you. Hey, what's up? Good to see you, Raclette. Good to see my guy. And over there on Blue Collar Folk here too, Oscar. Right, bro? I get it, dude. B Henry, what's up? Yeah, Crypto Big D. I appreciate all the comments, dude. You've been a gangster. I appreciate it. All right, so last one we'll do. The last one we'll talk about is everybody's favorite, XRP.
Come on, man. Bruh.
I know, but it's true. It's the number one thing on my channel that people talk about the most. Love it or hate it is what it is. Okay? So I'll pull it up here and I got some stuff drawn. And believe it or not, even out on the weekly chart, XRP is still hanging on to support. See that little box right there? I can drag that little box, grab it all the way across there like that, and you'll see it's digging into this support level here and not wanting to let go. Let me darken it up a little bit for the poor eyeball folks out there like myself. There you go. It's hitting that old support level from all the way back in December 24 and hanging on and hanging on and hitting and hitting and hitting. Now, can it fail? Absolutely, it can fail. What would that mean? Well, that would mean the 21 EMA on the weekly, which is right at this level right here, also fails. If I go to the daily chart and look at it a little closer, boy, oofta, she took a turn for the worse, didn't she? She failed the 821 EMAs, the 50 moving average, the 100 moving average. It tried to hold, but it didn't make it. Big, huge retracement down. Very, very ugly, but it's into support. Again, if it can hold support, good. And it's actually held up better than most. Very, very impressive. If I pull fibs on it, you'll see here, she's all the way down in Sniper's Alley. We'll fade this back out so we can see what we're doing here. She's all the way back down in Sniper's Alley again, hanging on by a thread. And like I said, if Bitcoin can slow up a little bit here and let some of the breathing happen, then we might see a rebound here for XRP. It's got to hang on to this level. If it falls below this level, it's going to get uglier. Down here to the take profit fibs at 1272, 1414, 1618. Those prices are 250 to 240. All right, and the 200 moving average is down there as well. So if we don't get back and get going again, right here's my target, that 200 moving average. If we get going and we break out, here's the line that I need to see break. Right there, that red line. Break this red line and you change my opinion. As a matter of fact, we can dial this in a little closer. I'll take that hump right there as a fake out. And I'll pull this down like that. So if you can get above this line on a daily chart, not a 4 hour, you can close up here on a daily chart, I'll change my mind. Till then, it's getting a little rough looking. Holding support. I'm proud of it for hanging on the best as it has, but it can get rough. XRP BTC, this is where you'll see that she's hanging on by a thread here. Again, doing a little bit better than Bitcoin overall, but today having a rough time. Now, there's more support, right? There's more support versus Bitcoin. See that? It's got the 100 moving average and the 200 moving average right under there. So she's hanging on like a gangster. All right. How about XRP dominance? Had a good day yesterday, didn't it? Right? Hanging on to that green box. I sound like a New Yorker right there. Damn, my bad.
Damn.
So it's hanging on to this green box, not books. But that bearish engulfing right there, I don't like. So you are seeing some money bleed out of it right now. You got all the moving averages balled up in the way right here, and that's kind of the problem. Just getting hung up a little bit. We need to see that thing jump those moving averages and get moving here again. Till then, we're really not going to see a big influx of money. You got the cloud in the way. You're under the pivot. All your oscillators either down or sideways. There's the RSI for XRP dominance, which is the amount of grab the XRP has over the market, right? The amount of power it's got versus everything else. It's only 4.4% of the market right now, right? And for it to get moving again, this has to flip. We got to see money roll in. It's got to come from somewhere, and I don't really care where it come from. We just need to see more percent. Again, I like 6% if it can get over it, which is up here where this red line is. For now, again, like most, better be careful. Please, for the love of all things holy, everyone, if you haven't done so, please just think about having a stop loss. It's really simple. Have your point where you say, nope, no more. That's it. I'm not doing this anymore. You took enough money from me. I can't go anymore. My stop losses got hit. Hands up, Jesus, take the wheel, and I walked away into stable coins. Now, I'm not in fiat. I'm in stable coins, which is just $1. Right? Can I stay in stable coins? Sure. I can stay in stable coins till next year or the year after and just leave it here. As a matter of fact, they sell a pretty good yield for stable coins right now. I can take that money that I've got and stick it over in USDC and put it into some DeFi projects, or I can just put it in USDC over in Coinbase and do pretty well. I'm not going to do that, but it's possible, right? And you're going to see a lot of people do that. And because of that, you'll see that APY come down some. But for now, it's pretty good. So my warning for everyone, just because you think it can't get worse is wrong. It can absolutely get worse. The ball can continue to roll downhill. The snowball can get bigger and worse. Please be mindful of it. Have your stop losses and think about what you're doing before you get too crazy. All right? Thank you. Now, I appreciate everybody. Nate Lambo, holy hell. Good to see you, brother. Damn. Don't be a stranger next time, bro. We're getting off of here, but thank you for coming in. Please, everyone, please hear me out. Thank you for being here. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with me watching this, and I appreciate that. It really means a lot to me that you guys are still here hanging out. Seriously, you don't have to, but you do, and that's badass of you all. So thank y'all for that. I want you to make the best of your todays the worst of your tomorrows. It means have a better day tomorrow than you did today, all right? I'm going to try to do that tomorrow. I want you to also. And last but not least, if no one else told you today, Keith will tell you. Keith loves you. You guys need anything, message me over in Discord in the general chat. I'm happy to talk to anybody if you're having a rough time. These things like this really make depression set in. I'm battling with it myself. I'm having a hard time myself right now. Depression and anxiety is real, and I fully understand that. So if anybody needs someone to talk to, jump in the general chat. I got your back, man. All right. I'm here for you too, just like you guys are here for me. I appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate all you guys being here. I'll see you next time on Tuesday. We have Zoom tonight for the guys in the Discord. If you want to join the Discord, here's the link. Have at it. Free month, half off. If you don't like it, you can cancel anytime. No hard feelings. Thank you all. I'll see you guys on the next stream. I'm out. Sky's the limit. Peace.